Welcome back to the CL show. Look at this though. All right. Those make me weirdly happy. I don't have a name for this. What I do know is that I will be making more and more content, looking at posting relatively daily. When I say that, my goal is to, record these about 4 times and post 4 times a week. We'll see where it goes, but it does feel important to me. I feel like keep getting pinged to do this thing called show up in this way and speak in this way. And I don't know where it's going to lead. But the catalyst actually happened 7 years ago. I don't know. Well, maybe even more than that. But about 7 years ago, there were several students at the same time reach out to me. If you don't know already, I am a professor, a life coach. It's weird to say that those are the only things. I've also been a professional ballroom dancer and barista extraordinaire, amongst other things. I ran and owned an international wedding planning company. And so there's various things that I've done. The one that has been a major part of my career life is being a professor. And about 7 years ago, I had a couple students who asked, and they're like, do you ever, is there a way that you could teach outside of the classroom? Or could we share some of the conversations that we've had in the classroom with other people? And the one that I remember the most specifically is she wanted to have these conversations with her cousin who lived out of the country. So it just started to tweak. I don't know. It just kept being like, ooh, maybe this is something I lean into, is creating more content, teaching, finding ways to educate and to teach outside of the classroom. Now that was 7 years ago, and I dabbled a little bit, and there's been, I feel like, a whole era since then, but the pings have been coming back, and y'all, I've been dismissing. Let's be real. I've been like, really, we're gonna, and I've been scared of the judgment, and I've basically been postponing for a long time, and now it feels important. I don't know why it feels so important, but we're going to lean into this. We're going to lean into this because something that's important to me is to do the new hard things that feel lean into the uncertainty if it feels important to me. And so this is one of those. Now it was interesting though, because today too, I was thinking about the content that I want to create, or just like having a conversation and having a topic. And the first sort of thought came up, the first thought that came up was, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to rally. Because I'm taping this in July of 2026. June and July have been tough for me. Life has been lifing. There's been several things that have been happening with family and just various things that are coming up because of it for me. And so it's been really interesting, honestly, for me to know that life has been hard and difficult, and then I'm actually in the muckety muck of it and working through a whole bunch of things. And also that I feel so much joy and so much satisfaction and so much excitement. And there's still so much fun. I mean, I was at an Ed Sheeran concert this past weekend and a Rockies game, and I get to snuggle with my kids and my husband, and my relationship is just super sweet. And I love the pace of my days, and I just feel so grateful. It's amazing that I can feel so grateful in this life of mine and sitting out on this porch and simultaneously know that I'm working through the hard, and that my nervous system and my body, we're just feeling it. And so when I was thinking about rallying, it just made me think of content and socials and how often we put on this where it's like always excitement, always the good. And it feels so disingenuous. At least today it did. It felt so disingenuous, especially if I'm going to try to create content for the majority of the days of the week. It's not sustainable. Talk about not sustainable to do like the and also We're not that all the time. Even me. I don't y'all, many of y'all don't know me yet, but I am excitable. I am loud. I do love to scream and to screech and to celebrate and to dance and to just like that is me. Also, I do need some downtime. And it comes as a surprise to many that again, I haven't gone too much in the recent research, but I am introverted in the definition of how I recoup my energy. How do I feel energy? How do I feel replenished with my energy? Alone time. Lots of alone time. I like to sit out on the porch by myself and drink my coffee. I journal, I read. I just started painting, y'all. I know. That's a new one for 2026 and I love it. Oh my gosh, these are some. See? Oh gosh, so a lot of alone time. So in any case, this is a long way of saying that this morning it just felt really disingenuous. As soon as I was like, I got to rally, and I had this like, that doesn't feel right. And again, it just doesn't feel like that's something that I could do if this really is something that, right? Like whatever this new endeavor is, if I'm going to be recording on a daily basis, I can't always rally because that ain't always how I'm feeling. So here's to feeling simultaneous things. No, various emotions simultaneously. There we go. Various emotions at the same time, holding that I can feel extreme joy and satisfaction and gratefulness and peace at the same time that I'm holding a lot of stress and uncertainty and struggles with my family. And so my son actually made me some tea. And so I just made a tea and what does it say? The unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. That's so perfect. Because this endeavor, y'all, is my unknown. I don't know where this thing is going to lead, but it does feel really important to me right now. So here we are. Cheers. Actually, that's a perfect segue into one of the things that I have been thinking about talking about, a topic. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Because I was thinking about authenticity. And I know I actually don't like that term anymore. I know a lot of people use that when they talk about me. They talk about how amazing it is and how authentic I feel and how real. And I don't know, but I feel like authentic right now sort of has like a nyam taste. But I was thinking about what a student told me last semester, and that she kept saying, especially at the end of the semester, how were her words, how transformational the class was. And at some point, I think I asked her, like where transformational, how? Like, is it the content or I didn't know. In my head, right? I was like, I don't know which was the part that's transformational because transformational, that's a big term. That's not one that I hear often, especially from students, right? I hear that inspiring, absolutely, or that I mean, I get really blessed with the amazing comments that I get from clients and from students. But her words are transformational. And when she elaborated, it was like, she's like, Ciel, it doesn't even have to be the content, but how you are in the class and who you are in the class, and that you get to just be you. Again, her words were, she's always surprised at how she'll like just be like, oh, I could do that. Like I could do that and I can be that out loud. Like people are allowed to act this way. And I took that as an amazing compliment because being me out loud has been something that, I mean, feels really good to me. Right? Like, I do love having fun and dancing and joking and also being serious at the same time. And I love being that in front of people, and in a classroom. But that has been important to me. But it hasn't always been easy. And that hasn't always been the case. And so, again, I was just thinking of her comment about how I was actually trying to sit with it in how us being ourselves can be seen as transformational. Where the assumption underlying that, I would think, is it's sort of normalized for us not to be ourselves, right? Or to put on pretenses, or to mask up, or to showcase parts of ourselves, but not all of ourselves, right? And I was wondering more and more, is that becoming the norm? Has that always been the norm? Is it worse with social media? Or maybe it's better with social media. And when I say worse or better, I just mean, does it happen more or less? And I was brought back to a moment in time. I can actually remember the time where I decided in my life that it was important for me to be able to act like myself in various situations with various types of people. So something that y'all may not know about me, because I don't share it too often, is that I did college and undergraduate and graduate school fast. So I knew that I wanted to be a professor, that I wanted to teach in higher ed or at universities at a young age. I was 14. I watched the movie A Mirror Has Two Faces with Barbara Streisand, and she's standing in front of a lecture hall. And I remember at 14 being like, that, whatever her vibe is, that's what I want to do. And I just did it. And so I majored in comparative literature, and I finished my undergrad degree in 3 years. And it was a double major and a minor, I think. So it's doable. And then I went right into my master's. It was actually a doctoral program, but I was mostly ABD, which stands for all but dissertation. I think I had 1 or 2 classes left plus the dissertation, but I was so tired of school, and I was so dismayed with trying to find a topic and all of that. So I got a terminal master's, what's called a terminal master's. So instead of completing that doctoral, I just said, let me finish right here. Let me finish whatever I need to do to get my master's at that point. So I was 21 and I was graduating with my master's at the same time that my friends who had started with me were graduating with their bachelor's. And the moment in time that I remember is that my mom wanted to have a graduation party for me. So I went to Bloomington, Indiana. I went to IU. Go IU, IU. Okay, so I was at IU. My mom comes and she's like, of course, she's so sweet and she wanted to celebrate. And she's like, let's throw a graduation party. Y'all, I froze. Legit, my brain stopped. It was like trying to function, but it was not functioning. And I was trying to figure out, who was I going to invite? But what stopped me and what I couldn't figure out is I honestly didn't want to invite anybody. I didn't want to have the graduation party because imagining all of my friend groups in one room, I had no idea how I was going to act. That was the part that felt paralyzing, is imagining the people from my different friend groups coming and being in one place, and I would have no clue how I would talk to them, how I would celebrate myself, how to be, honestly. And it was in that moment that I realized that I showcase parts of myself and I act differently with different people. And that those groups didn't necessarily see the other side. Or if they did, I didn't know that, right? Like I was sort of like, I guess I had to fill whatever this perception was of mine. So for example, my friends that I started freshman year with, they knew me as being super silly and super loud. And I guess I stole people's French fries without asking. And I don't know, I danced a lot and I didn't like to drink. So I tended to be DD if that actually happened, but I could have a lot of fun with no substances. And so they just sort of knew me as that like loud, vivacious, silly. I think we were also talking with like a baby voice. So that version, I'd go to frat parties and they knew me as that. Now, I also had all my grad school friends, right? So these were students who were in comparative literature, also in French and in German, I mean, just in various languages. And they were all from the doctoral programs. So they knew me as an intellectual, right? They knew me as somebody who would have theoretical conversations about literature and paradigms and whatever that would be. And it was very serious. And I was also teaching at that time. So I was teaching classes. So those students also, or those friends of mine also knew me as an instructor. And at that point, I probably wasn't as vivacious as an instructor as I don't know. And then what was another group? Oh, and then I was part of the Filipino American Association. I'm half Filipino. My mom's Filipino. And so, and I think it was called like programming chair or events. Anyways, I feel like I had I would plan amazing events. You want an amazing party at the courthouse? Yes, done. I was choreographing fashion shows. I don't know, choreographing dances. So big time events that happened on campus for Asian American associations or Asian American groups, and people would travel from different campuses to come. I planned a lot of the events. So I sort of had that, like, whatever that aura is, except for I can't say aura because then it negates my aura, right? So whatever that vibe was of like programming, just managing a lot of people and being that person that was willing to go do all of those things. But I did have a certain amount of respect there, right? And then I'm sure I had a way of talking with my Asian American friends or whatever that was different. So in any case, my mom wanted to have a graduation party. I freaked out. Like, not even, I was like, don't even know. I don't even know if we had. I can't even remember. I think I just said no. I think I squashed the whole thing because, again, I had no clue how I was going to act if everybody came from different groups of people that I knew of. And then all of those too are different than how I would react and talk to my mom or my dad or my brother or whatever, right? So it just felt very strange. And I remember from that experience being very clear for me, because this is what it mattered to me. It doesn't mean it's going to matter to everybody else, but to me, it mattered that how do I want to say this? It was important for me to be myself around a variety of people. I think that's what I took away from the experience. I'm trying to think of what my wording would be. I think it was more like I just wanted to know that I could be myself in any situation, that I didn't have to compartmentalize, that I could actually honor the vastness that is me. I don't know, I thinking that movie, The Multiplicity, that's what I mean, but that I have multiple facets to me and that I can be excitable and I can be a leader and I can be an intellectual and I can love to dance and I can. So there's various aspects to me. And it was really important to me at that point. And I wondered, it was more in the form of a wonder, like, is it possible for me to be myself, to feel like I am myself in all of its glory, in all its complexities, in any group? Is it possible for me not to just showcase one aspect? Is it possible for me not to try to conform? Is it possible for me not to mask up? Is it possible for me not to try to go overboard and people please and try too hard to get people to like me? Can I just be me? Whatever that looks like. And I'm thinking of today at the beginning of this thing, even this morning when I'm like, I'm going to have to rally to create a video. And there's still a part of me that's like, no, because that feels real disingenuous to us right now. And we're allowed to show up in all. We get to show up however we feel like, with some tea or not, in life when it's hard, in life when it's exciting, and that they actually coexist. Right? Like, let's talk more about the coexistence of multiple things occurring at the same time, us feeling very different, and then that we're really, I like the multifaceted, but that we're just complex beings and we get to be all of it. So, again, I'm thinking about that student who said that it was transformational just being me. And a couple other students heard her and said, yeah, but it seems like it's so easy. It just like comes easy to you to just be you. And I really want to say it wasn't always easy, right? Me at 18, 19, 20, 21, like it wasn't at 21, I realized I was real disjointed. And for me, it felt a bit untenable. Like this was not how I wanted to live. I hated that feeling. I hated the feeling of being paralyzed and like I was like, I'm just thinking of a robot when it's like out and there's got their cores, they're like does not compute, whatever that feeling was. And I was like, really? I'm not going to celebrate myself. I'm not going to have a graduation party for myself because I don't know how I'm going to act if all of my friends are in the same room. Yeah, that no more. Now, I don't remember what happened afterwards. I don't know what progress looked like. I don't know what I leaned into. I know that I continued to lean into trusting myself, but that's been a 25-year process, right? Or 44 years, however you want to look at it. Is it easier for me now? Yes. Can I show up like this in front of you and show up like this in front of my students and show up like this in front of my friends and show up like this when I'm doing a keynote? Yes. But y'all, I'm 44 now. That was 23 effing years ago. So I do love that it's easier for me now. But there's still moments of vulnerability. And this format and me being here with y'all is a vulnerability piece. It does take courage for me to show up in this way because this is a very different kind of space. And so I just really wanted to honor, I guess, that I really appreciate. I love that being authentic, whatever that means, or real or truthful, or ourselves fully in front of people is transformational. Perhaps that could be something here. Maybe y'all could feel it through the screen. Da, 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 da. But I think I really want if there's any lesson here, I guess, since that's sort of where I gear to, it really is that this is a 23-year process. And it wasn't always like this for me. And at 21, I had a moment in time where I realized that something felt so gross inside that I knew that I wanted to make a change for me. I wanted to lean into being more and more myself out loud because that mattered to me. Being able to be myself and feel like myself again in the variety of contexts really mattered, especially since I knew, and it's sort of like I knew what I valued and I wanted to also be that as a leader. And I also, honestly, I was curious to see if it was possible. So I guess to me at 21, we could be a little proud of ourselves. Not even a little, we could be a lot proud of ourselves. Like CL at 21, it's freaking possible. Like we did it. Continuing to lean into it, even when it makes us nervous. So y'all, I guess that's where I'm at. That's the little story for today. I'm curious though. I'm wondering for y'all, do you ever have that? Do you have some version of that where there's a moment in time where you're like, this I don't like. This, I'm wondering if there's a different way that I can be, or a different thing that I can learn, or a different, I don't know what that would be, but just something that just felt really off that you knew, something's gonna shift there, or something's gotta shift here. Yeah. So if there is, let me know. I'd love to know what that is for you. And no matter what, thanks for being here at the beginning of whatever this new journey is for me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, there'll be another video soon.